Have you made any kind of deal with the Donatos?
Nothing. Not a damn thing.
Not a damn thing.
I asked them if they're going to put me up. And actually, I asked them that probably about 3 days ago.
Uh-huh.
Or 4, I don't even remember.
And they said they were working on something?
No, a couple of days ago. And they said, are you... What'd they say? Well, man, it's not really a deal. They asked me if that Nick going home was bullshit. And I was like, yeah, I completely agree it's bullshit.
Yeah.
And they're like, are you... I told them, I was like, if you know what's going on, I'm willing to fight to whoever kicked him out.
Mm-hmm.
Or suggested that I'll fight to make sure that person goes home, because I feel like I owe Nick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Nick was my best friend here.
Yeah.
And they said, okay. They didn't give me any names or anything. I mean, I've been really in the dark for the past couple of days, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, what happens if you get picked for POV? And I'm like, well, my attitude hasn't changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I proved that when I didn't take 10 grand.
Right.
Because that's the one thing that...
You, more than anybody, could have taken it.
That's the one thing that that sets me different from... I said I was going to get Nick back.
Mm-hmm.
And $10,000 isn't going to change that for me.
Yeah.
And that's what I was sitting there like, oh my... Like, I'm sure you guys saw me, like, what the hell am I going to do?
Yeah.
That was my personal test to myself. Am I really going to follow through with what I said I would do for somebody that I've only known for a month? Or am I going to take money and say, fuck it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I said, I said what I was going to say. I know I'm not the most well-liked in this house, and I could probably go up at any moment. It was probably really a rough, hard decision, but I said, fuck it. He was a friend of mine, and I'm going to stick through it.
Yeah.
So that's why I kept going through that. I didn't win, and...
But you fought for it.
And that's kind of as far as it went. I didn't know that Eric was going up or any of that. They didn't tell me any of that until at the last second. They're like, you don't have to worry about you this week. I'm like, well, then that's fine. That's all I care about. Thanks. And that was it. And then the fireworks outside with Dick and the hot tub and bullshit like that. I mean, I was really pretty focused on just getting this dumb thing over with, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been sitting milling around with my thoughts for like the past couple of days.
Yeah.
I didn't orchestrate anything with them. I just said I wanted to get back for Nick.
Okay.
And they knew I was in for that, so.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I mean, that's all I have to say. I
Yeah.
don't have anything else, really, to be honest. But,
well,
I mean, now that this thing's going down, I mean, I don't know where I side, because it's difficult for me, because
you have Kale, who's
who
stabbed
sold
you in the
me
back.
out.
Yep. And then you have
And
Eric.
I know that you're kicking it with Kale, at least. You seem like you're pushing that, and that's either good for you or really dangerous for
Kale's going home this week. I'm telling you for fact. Kale's going home this week. And so, wherever you vote...
Yeah, I know.
I would say to vote with the majority, which would be to vote Kale out. But
I need to figure out if that's really that, and I don't know how to figure that out. That's what I'm kind of dealing with right now.
Yeah. Well...
I understand what you're saying, but I need to somehow...
know that for sure.
Know that that is the case, because if you're not... Say you know, but you don't know, or whatever, however it happens, and I do fall on the wrong side, then that's major for me. And that was the $10,000 blunder on my part.
Right.
So I haven't made a decision. I haven't picked either side yet. Eric hasn't talked to me in 40 days, to be honest. I haven't had a damn conversation with him, and if he wants to come at me because he needs me now.
Yeah.
It's kind of lame, but
I agree.
In the same sense, it's like I have somebody that stabbed me in the back, and I voted to get her out, and it hasn't happened. So I have a moral dilemma with my personal,
right,
and I need to figure that one out. But I also would like to know what the majority is leaning at.
Because you have...
I'm in a hard spot.
Well, because you have the person, you voted Kale out 2 weeks in a row, and if you vote to keep her this week, you're going against the person that you've been for the past 2 weeks.
I also bring into the factor that she can't compete in 5 HOHs, which is a major thing to me.
Right. Right.
So I don't have to worry about her putting me up. Somebody could put her up for me. I mean, somebody could put me up in place of what her thinking.
Yep.
I don't think she has a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
So, but assumptions can get me into trouble. I have a lot to think about. I don't really know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're the first person to say the majority is going to try and take her out.
That's just...
She's tried to come at me already for my vote, and I was like, I just need some time.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I'm going to do. It's hard for me to really believe, and I mean, this is kind of where it starts to, for me, I have to go against the way I think, and do what's best overall. And I don't know. Those are things that I have to sit there and combat in my head.
Right.
I mean, because even if, for instance, I keep Eric in the game, what does that give me? He hasn't given me anything.
Right.
Not even a conversation about life.